Good morning, church.
Good morning.
Okay. I want to start off with a little humor this morning before I get into the edification. Um, this 18-year-old young lady went to her parents and she said, Mom, Dad, I haven't had my period for 2 months. And so the mother went down to the pharmacy and got a pregnancy test kit. And then she came up to her daughter and she said, Where is the pig that got you pregnant? And so the daughter goes into the kitchen and uses the phone. And a half hour later, a Lamborghini pulls up in front of the house. A gentleman steps out in a fine, very expensive suit. So they see him coming, so they open the door. And he comes in and he says, Your daughter told me about the problem. Said, but because of my family situation, I won't be able to marry your daughter. However, this is what I have the power to do. If it's a girl, I'll give her 2 outlet stores. I'll give her a villa on the beach. I'll give her a townhome, and I'll put $1 million in her bank account. However, if it's a boy, I'm going to give him 2 factories, and I'm going to put $2 million in his bank account. So the father was sitting there silent the whole time. So he gets up, and he walks up to the man, and he says, before you say anything, I'd like to have your advice on what I should do if she miscarries. And so the father looks at him, puts his hand on his shoulder, and said, if she miscarries, you try again. So, okay, so with that, forgive me, Lord. Okay, so anyway, okay, back to reality. Janet and I, Janet and I have been under persecution, and from my oldest son, and we would like for everybody to be saved, especially our children. So I have Matthew 5:11 and 12 that I'm gonna be sharing with you, and 1 Corinthians 1:18. 1 Corinthians 1:18 says, "For the preaching of the cross to them that are perishing is foolishness, but to us that are saved, it is the power of God." And I'm going to read Matthew 5:11, just from the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with them. And 11 says, Blessed are you when they revile you and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets that were before you. In the past, a while back, the pastor once told me that when you share the gospel with somebody and they reject it or reject you, don't take it personal. You know, because they rejected him that sent you. And I always have to remember that because I do take it personal, you know, especially from one of my children. And I'm not going to go into details or tell you all what he said, but he was really disrespectful, insulted Janet and I, and I was upset about it. I was going to take him out to dinner for his birthday, and then I got to the point to where you got nothing coming, and I deleted his phone or blocked his number out of my phone, and I'm glad that God gave me Janet because she suggested that we take him out anyway and just love on him. And my flesh says, no, but I'm gonna, and I thank her for that, and hopefully that'll, well, not hopefully it will. I think it will change his heart, because he was really disrespectful and cruel, and I will tell you this part. He sent us a picture of the Ku Klux Klan, and it said that Jesus saves. And I was like, what the heck? And I don't look like a Klan member, so, but anyway, we're just going to pray for him and love him and continue to, he told me not to share the gospel with him. And that reminds me of, I think it's Matthew 6 verse 7, where Jesus tells us not to cast our pearls before swine. So anyway, I just want you to be encouraged that the persecution can come from anywhere. But Jesus gave us the antidote in Matthew 5 and verse 11 and 12. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And thank you. And with that, we'll have the pastor come up with a wonderful message.